Here's something the scientists don't advertise. Every single day, meteors enters the Earth's atmosphere. Thousands of them, and some of them are size of a car, and some even larger. And almost every single one burns up before it reaches the ground. The atmosphere does its job quietly. No announcement, no warning system, no news coverage, because there's nothing to report. The threat dissolves on its own. Now think about the last week of your life. How many deeds of catastrophes you prepare that didn't occur? How many conversations did you rehearse that never happened? How many worst scenarios did you build in full cinematic detail that burned up in the atmosphere before they even touched your life? You've been tracking meteors. And most of them will never land. I want to tell you about a period of my own life where my brain was basically a disaster prediction service. This was during and after my recovery, when the substances were gone and suddenly I had a full access to my thoughts again. My mind went into overdrive. Every one of the decisions felt enormous. Every uncertain situation becomes a catastrophe, potentially. Every relationship, even it's business or personal, carried the weight. What if this goes wrong? What if I lose this, or what if I can't handle it? Oh, I remember planning scenarios that maybe 3% of actually chance of happening. Losing sleep over conversations that existed only in my head. Avoiding situations because of the outcome that never occurred and might never occur. And here's the thing about my anxiety-driven thinking. It feels productive, it feels like preparation, like responsibility, like everyone is naive. And you think you are realistic, but what it actually is. Your nervous system running situations that cost you real energy, real time, real presence, the problem that exists only in the future and most of which will never occur. The meteors was everywhere in my mind, and I was standing in the open field just staring at them, completely forgetting to live my actual life. Let's talk about what actually happening psychologically. The formal term is anticipatory anxiety. Your brain, specifically the prefrontal cortex, has an extraordinary ability to simulate future. To model outcomes, to run scenarios. This is one of humanity's greatest evolutionary advantages. It's why we can plan, build or create. But this same ability, when get dysregulated, when it runs without filters, without rest, becomes one of the most exhausting things in your mind. Here's the core problem with catastrophic thinking. It violates one of most basic principles of reality. Most negative outcomes never happen. Studies on worry, actual psychological research find that somewhere in between 85 to 95% of what people worry about either never occurs or significantly more manageable than they were feared. 85 to 95%. Just think about it, and think about it in terms of your own life. Think about the last 10 things you dread about. How many of them was as bad as you were imagined, and how many never arrived at all? And yet your nervous system spent resources on all of them. Real cortisol, real sleep disruption, real presence stolen from today. The meteors burn up, but the watching cost you anyway. There's another layer in here. cognitive distortion, specifically what psychologists call catastrophizing, the mental habit of taking an uncertain situation and automatically jumping into worst possible scenario. Your brain isn't doing this to torture you. It learned somewhere, probably very early. Preparing for the worst is a way of protection. If you imagine catastrophe first, you can be blinded by it. It's just a protection mechanism, just one that stopped serving you long after the environment was changed that created it. Let's be honest about what chronic anticipatory anxiety costs, not just in stress, in life. Every hour you spend problem solving that doesn't exist is an hour you are not present in the life that actually exists. The relationship in front of you, the work you're actually doing, the small moments that actually exist right now and will never exist again. Worry pulls you out from living your actual life and into the situations of the future that statistically probably won't happen.
Yeah.
And here's the cruelest part. When something difficult does happen, something real, something now, you are often already depleted. You spent your resources on meteors. You have nothing left for the actual ground level problem. Real resilience isn't created by worrying more. It's built by trusting your abilities to handle things when they actually arrive. So how do you actually interrupt this pattern? Distinguish between useful planning and anxious simulation. There is a real difference. Useful planning you identifying as genuine risk, replay it endlessly, prepare emotionally for it, and never reach a stopping point. One has an end point, but the other one don't have this end point. Ask yourself, is there an action that I can take right now about this concern? If yes, take it and stop thinking about it. If no, you are not planning, you are simulating. And simulation without action is just a suffering. Second reality test your worst case. When the catastrophic thoughts arrive, don't fight it and don't feed it. Ask it one honest question. What is the actual probability of this happening? Not the emotional probability, not the felt sense of certainty, the actual realistic historical probability. Most catastrophes don't survive honest probability assessment. They need the fog of anxiety to feel real. Bring them to the light and they usually shrinks. Third, practice present moment anchoring. When you catch yourself in the future, in the simulation or tracking the meteors, come to one specific detail, sensory detail of right now, not as a spiritual practice, as a neurological interrupt. Your brain cannot fully simulate the future and be fully present at the same time. Choose presence and be repeatedly in this. Every time you've noticed you left. I still worry sometimes. A decision coming up, an uncertain outcome, the old simulation engine starts running. But I catch it earlier now. And I ask myself, is this meteor going to land? Because most of them won't. Most of what you are dreading right now will burn up in the atmosphere long before it reaches you. And the ones that do land, you will handle them. Not because you prepared to them in advance, but because you are someone who handles things. You've already handled things harder than most of what you are worrying about. The sky isn't falling. You just forgot to look at the ground you are standing on. Come back. This moment, unremarkable, specific and ordinary moment. This is your actual life and it's been waiting for you to show up. Tell me in comments what's the worry you keep coming back. I'm really curious about this. And subscribe, press like, and we'll see you in the next one. Have a good flight, fam.